Hey guys, I'm Dr. Tobisch with Whitefish Chiropractic, and this month's video series is going to primarily be for our desk workers or anybody that has to sit for long periods of time, day in and day out. Whenever we have patients that have to sit for extended periods of time on a daily basis, we're always urging them to take little micro breaks, to break up their day and kind of deliberately force different movements and motions into their body to help avoid the aches and pains that come with sitting for long periods of time. I'm going to give you a simple example of why that is, and it might just convince you to do so. So if I take my finger here and I start to crank it back to its end range, I hold it here for a little bit, it's uncomfortable, it's not necessarily painful. Then if I let off and I move my fingers around for a second, it feels better. It's kind of like it never happened. Alternatively, if I do the same thing and I take my finger back to its end range and then I hold it here for, 4, 5, 6 hours, what's gonna happen? Well, the pain is gonna get significantly worse. And then when I let go and I go to move my fingers around, the symptoms are not gonna subside so quickly. So that's basically what we want to do with these little micro breaks. If we can break up our day frequently enough, we avoid our aches and pains turning into something worse. But if we sit for hours and hours on end, day in and day out, things can only take so much stress, and eventually our little aches and pains turn into much more significant injuries. Let's look at some simple movements that we can do to break up the day and avoid some of the low back pain that comes with prolonged sitting. First one we're going to look at is just going to be standing lumbar extension, oftentimes referred to as the old man stretch. So from the side, basically looks like this. You're just going to take your hands, put them right in your lower back. You're going to use these as a fulcrum to push some extension into your lower back. I just lean back till you start to feel a little bit of a strain, push into it for a second, then come back out. You can start with the hands really low down in the pelvis and then move them up into the lumbar spine, kind of use them as a fulcrum at different segments in the spine. I do 8 to 10 reps of these. Next, if you've been in this kind of forward C-shaped position at your desk all day, these muscles are just hanging on for dear life, probably feel good to stretch them a little bit. So you can just gently, simply start to creep down the front till you feel a little stretch in the back. Then we can use those muscles to come back out of it. You might even open up and go into some extension. Back down the front, hands can slide down the thighs, start to feel a good stretch. Maybe you go this way a little bit. Maybe you go this way a little bit to kind of bias left and right, whatever feels like a good stretch, and mix some of those into your life a little bit. Next thing that we can do is stretch out the hip flexors. If we've been seated for a long time, oftentimes these muscles are kind of in a shortened position all day. Feel good for your hips and your back to get some length into those. So you can go into a split stance or a staggered stance. And from here, you're basically just going to lunge forward until you start to feel a pull in the front of the hip, maybe even in the abdomen. You can add some overpressure. We can start to tip away. So I might be lunging straight forward till I feel a stretch. I might bend away, feels kind of good. I might do the same thing, lunge forward. I might rotate away. I may do several of those on each side. So there's some really simple movements that don't take very long. It'll make your back feel a lot better if you can break up your day with those.